tell you when we're live in all the platforms. All right, we are live.
Hello.
Hello. Island time, Schmoopaloos. Which is like live. I mean, it's actually the reverse. Instead, we're doing things in a way more punctual way than we normally would, right?
Yeah.
If you see my head darting, it's just me keeping an eye on all the various live streams, which seem to all be working. So we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. We're dominating the airwaves right
There's nothing else but us on. So everyone should
now.
be listening and watching at their homes, staying safe, social distancing, all that good stuff. Welcome to another Goldnerds Live.
Yeah, we love doing this. This is a lot of fun. Even if it's just you and me, there's heightened stakes.
There are high stakes. Can't make any mistakes. We
Right.
got to be on point, punctual.
It's like a Blaney episode of Schooled, right? High stakes, high stakes, high stakes. Oh no, we got some people
Always high
watching. We
stakes.
got some people watching on Twitter right now. We got Chad. Chad's on.
Hey,
We
Chad,
love you, Chad.
our loyal viewer.
Yeah, and me. Oh no, yeah, we had lots of people showing up. This is great. Thank you everybody for coming on our various streams. We are on Twitter, we're on Facebook and YouTube all at the same time right now, folks. So if we're not getting your if we're not getting your comments, go to one of those other platforms and drop us a message.
Yeah, drop us questions. What do you want to see throughout the show? We're answering constantly. We're answering live. This is live. We're live. We're doing it live
Yeah,
for
3 p.m.
you
3 p.m. on Saturday the 4th. Yeah, all
or
right.
12 Pacific. You never know where our viewers are.
And then Carlinej. I don't know that name, but that person has arrived. So good to see you there. I feel like the people who like I know seem to be the people that I get to be allowed to see. Anyways, how you doing, Lons?
I'm great. I'm hanging in there, chilling in Bev's kitchen. How are you?
Good, good, good. I'm in the living room, been watching some VHSs all week. A lot of fun.
Very cool.
A lot of fun. I noticed that the official Goldbergs social media accounts, uh, we say copycatting is the sincerest form of flattery. Is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah.
They gave us they gave us, I hope what was a subtle nod, because recognizing the craze of Zoom meetings and virtual backgrounds, they released a few, but we're sticking with the ones that we found on random websites beforehand.
We
Sticking
are
with
the
the
originals, just like we're the original Gold Nerds. We're the original Zoom background people.
oh,
It's always nice to know that the Goldbergs
hi Chad.
official Twitter is watching our every move.
Yeah. Yeah, we hope so. They almost never like or retweet us though. Do you think that's like an official policy?
They're just jealous.
You think that's what it is? Or do you think it's just there's just like one intern that runs the accounts for like 30 shows, and then like once a week they send a bunch of tweets, they have a bunch scheduled, and then they come back? Which we're gonna get like an angry message soon for me saying all this stuff.
No, we're fine because they can come after us, but they ain't us.
Naked
They'll never
Rob's
be.
watching. Real life Naked Rob is watching.
Hey, Naked Rob, what's up?
So yeah, I'd love to, if anyone knows, I mean, you know how like things work in the industry. How does it work? Like where would that social media stuff be assigned? Is it going to be assigned to like to to Sony, to ABC? Is it just some like college
Probably
kid?
ABC's like marketing department, I would assume.
Got it. Got it.
Someone that doesn't probably watch the show, I would say.
Okay. We're getting punchy here today on the Gold Nerds. We are throwing a lot of shade. This is fantastic. and we've got a huge group of viewers. This is fantastic. I see Mike Cunningham, Angie Jacobs. We saw Naked Rob before. Michaela is on. Love seeing all the gold nerds.
Welcome, Gold Nerds.
Love seeing all the gold nerds.
We actually have like a supersized episode today too, because we're doing 2 weeks worth of Goldverse shows, 2 weeks worth of Goldbergs, 2 weeks worth of Schooled. I don't know about you, but shall we dive in?
Yeah, let's do it. And I'm gonna come up. Can I start with a hot take?
Let's do it.
The Goldbergs in our Goldbergs versus Schooled fake battle royale, for which Schooled has won week after week after week. I think the Goldbergs OG show, the mothership, put together 2 back-to-back epic episodes. Stellar episodes. To me, it was all about the Goldbergs the last couple of weeks. Although Schooled, huge hit in my house, and of course we love it. But Schmoopy's Big Adventure, followed by an episode that includes John Calabasas, Mr. Perrott, and Glasscott. Island Time. Like, I don't know when sweeps are supposed to happen, but to a gold nerd, having
that was sweeps.
Yeah, exactly. That was sweeps. We had Tim Meadows, what's his name? Anthony Michael Hall, and Hubel and Rob Hubel all in the same episode. It was almost like too much.
It was a lot of hard hitting, like 1, 2, 3 punches of great guest characters.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Naked Rob asks why we are clothed, and the answer, Naked Rob, is because we want to continue to be able to do the show live on Twitter. Otherwise, this would not be happening.
I will say I'm not clothed underneath my clothes.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's a good way to... And I think most people are being very liberal these days with what they're wearing below the square of the camera.
Exactly.
That's all I'm going to say. There's a very wide berth of what's acceptable these days.
So why don't you use your imagination, Naked Rob? Know that we're not disappointing you. We've got you covered. We've got Twitter rules covered. We're winning both sides of this coin.
Yeah, we are. Exactly. We are keeping it. We are keeping it going. It is, I don't know, are you able to see what are people? There's people saying stuff in the chat now on Twitter, on Periscope. Hi from London. It's nearly Pesach from Angie Jacobs. Lons, do you know what Pesach is?
I don't.
Pesach is the Hebrew version of is the Hebrew word for Passover.
Oh, it is almost Passover.
So we got to talk with Mrs. Goldberg, who actually called in last week, which was incredible. Mrs. Goldberg, we bow to you. And we talked about matzah brai, which I will be making next week. So Passover.
And a lot of challah bread?
No challah bread on Passover because we eat no leavened bread. It's all matzah.
Okay.
But
so why are people making why are people, I've seen the people on Instagram making challah bread
every week, every Friday for Shabbat.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'd like to see a Goldbergs Passover episode. They've done Hanukkah brilliantly multiple times.
Yep.
But let's Passover it up. I could totally see Pops a whole bit about who leads the Seder in the house, which is like a whole Jewish family neurosis and the traditions passing around, and then like the ending could be Bevy being the one to lead the Seder. That would be amazing.
We much like they do bottle episodes for the Thanksgiving, a lot of times, not all the time, but they do bottle episodes. They should do one epic bottle episode for Passover. No one leaves. It's all taking place in the Goldberg house. Just a great epic bottle episode, Passover episode.
Yeah, like Dinner with the Goldbergs, but just a Passover Seder.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So, oh, wait, the original Gold Nerd himself, Joe Webb. It looks like Joe Webb has dropped in for a little bit. Joe, if you're there, send us a sign. So going back a couple of weeks, take us through it. Take us through the Goldbergs.
Yeah, we had Schmoopy's Big Adventure. We had Adam's birthday, and they kind of glossed over his birthday this year. I feel like they normally we have those big parties like they mentioned in the opening montage.
The Boba Fett's, the tiny horse from the Rush episode. Oh, it's amazing.
But this year was, I would think it seemed like only Beverly acknowledged that it was his Sweet 16. And which was like, it's a big birthday to kind of skip over, but at least she got him Pee-wee's bike from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So,
oh yeah,
which we know from.
Did you ever
Movie.
watch that show? I watched that show growing up. It's almost like, I mean, kids didn't, I mean, I didn't understand how crazy and subversive and how just out of this world that show is, but that show was really, really significant.
I never watched it. It's been in like pop culture though, so I've seen like scenes, or I definitely know about the bike, and I definitely know about how he like sits on the bike weird. But I've never seen the
And
show.
at the end of every episode, he'd watch. He'd get on the bike and he'd get catapulted out of this mountain, and you just watch him driving that bike. So that bike was a big deal, and then it was in the movie also, of course.
Yeah, so a pretty significant gift to get. I mean, no, it's no car, but as we saw Adam's reaction, it didn't matter. He loved the bike, and then he puts it in a major, like a huge glass case, which was, and then we noticed around his room that everything's in cases and boxes and not to be touched. It's like a museum in there. And that's when Bev, freaks out and was like, my baby's no longer a baby. He's not a kid.
She's worried he's losing his childlike wonder.
Which I think we all worry at some point in our lives if we are losing our childlike wonder.
As someone who's owned a lot of the same toys that Adam had, I have been tracking down the original Dinobots and sending them to my nephew. And it looks like we've got a special caller right now.
Oh.
Hold on, caller. I gotta unmute you. No, I think you're unmuted. Caller, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
This
is. Man, it shows my phone. Shows my phone number on.
I'm sorry. That was my fault. It's gone now. It's gone now. I will.
All good.
I will eliminate that on the replay, Joe.
Oh, no worries. Hey, how are you guys doing?
We're doing
Hi,
great.
Joe.
We've got Joe Webb, the original Gold Nerd, is here calling in. What a great surprise!
Oh my gosh! It just so happened I caught the live notification, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to see how Shine Lawns are doing.
We're doing great. We're having so much fun doing these live episodes. Did you guys ever do a live episode back in the day? There were so many years of the show before we were on.
No, I don't. I know we did not. It was always it was hard to get, because Ashley was always 8 hours ahead of me, so it was hard to get those times synced up. And we always recorded usually on a Thursday when I was home for lunch, and it was just kind of crazy squeezing the podcast in.
How are you doing?
No,
how's your family?
Great idea. The family's doing well. My daughter, my oldest daughter was in England for the year for school, and a couple weeks ago, she, her program ended and said, you need to come home due to, COVID-19 and everything that's going on. So we brought her home, and that was great. And then my younger daughter, it was in Azusa, at Azusa Pacific down in Southern California. Her classes also ended and everything went online. And then they said, you also can no longer stay in the dorms. You need to go home. So there was one weekend where, we went to the airport to pick up my daughter from England and then drove down to Southern California to pack up my other daughter and move everybody back. So they've been back now for 2.5, 3 weeks. And it's been fun. Everybody's here. It's fun in the fact that they're here, not fun in the fact that everybody's quarantining and trying to stay safe and washing our hands and social distancing, but glad to have the family here and safe.
And
how are you all doing?
we're watching a lot of Goldbergs and Schooled, I think. I mean, we're
Yeah.
also doing regular life stuff too. Have you had a particular episode that you've been watching during this time? Like that we talked about comfort episodes a couple of weeks ago.
Well, no, actually, the funny thing is that my girls did not get to keep up on the Goldbergs this season just because of where they were and spread out and what was going on in school. So they've actually been rewatching this latest season of the Goldbergs in Schooled, and so my wife and I are kind of a couple weeks behind because we're waiting for the girls to catch up. So it's kind of funny. They just watched the Christmas episode from this year. Hanukkah, and then Murray's 50th birthday was I think the last one that or 50th birthday again. So it was good to see those things. They're always. I honestly think, and I'm sure you guys agree, that the more you watch an episode, the better it gets.
Truly.
There's things that you miss the first time, and then as you're watching it, you just notice other things, and you realize how brilliant the writing is again, and how the actors are just perfect every time.
Yeah,
I would say it's a roller coaster that only goes up.
The classic line never gets old.
My favorite line of the
stuff.
entire series.
Right, I know. It's awesome. Oh, Lance, I still have your DVDs on my shelf. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've had these for a year. I'm the worst person to loan things to. Because I haven't given them back, but they're still in good condition, and I promise you we'll get them back.
And
you know what? Why don't you keep those? That's my gift to you, Joe. You can have them.
What?
It's my quarantine gift. You need them more than I do.
Okay.
So why don't you keep them for me, safe and sound, and we'll call it even.
You can reclaim them at any time. I will hold them and keep them safe.
Good.
And Joe, we're gonna get into this week's or the last couple episodes. If you're worried about spoilers, I mean, you're welcome to stay on, of course, as long as you want.
No,
you invented this.
I just want to thank you for inviting me on. I just want to say hi and thank you guys so much for keeping it going. I'm really proud of the work that you're doing, and I love seeing the animations and the podcasts and everything you guys are posting. I think you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you, Joe. That's big compliments from you. OG Gold Nerd here, everyone. Joe Webb. Thank you so much for coming on.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
So yeah, where were we? Schmoopy's Big Adventure, the bike. And what I would say is one of the greatest moments. I think we've reached the closest moment that we could have had to the Super Duper Looper, which is now projecting behind me.
Tequila.
Yeah.
The way Johnny Atkins, for him to suggest doing that dance to give his bike back, and then Johnny Atkins partakes in the dance himself.
Yeah, to me, and bless the writers, they were like, we're gonna do a Pee-wee's Big Adventure episode. How do we get the tequila dance into it? It's like the whole episode in my mind must have been built to get to this scene. And Sean Gambroni's performance here is perfection. The earnestness with which, I love that we can have this in the background right now, because the earnestness with which he moves his neck muscles here, a combination of absolute precision / exasperation that is, it's just magic. And Wendy, of course, nonchalant.
She's dancing like a pro.
Yeah, like nonchalantly doing those moves, like she can, and that look she puts in her face. Could you? I would love to know what it was like being on set that day. Maybe it's just the way it's like on set every day on the Goldbergs, but to me, when you're watching,
I would imagine so.
You're watching something incredible here.
I can't stop watching this. I hope it's on loop forever. Play this at my funeral. So Johnny A steals the bike. Then they do the tequila dance to get the bike back. Unfortunately, the bike is now at not a nurse. what are the Catholic where's the bike at? The Catholic.
Oh, it gets given away, right? It gets given away to the church.
Yeah, it gets given away to the church. And they commit a cardinal sin of stealing a bike from a nun's hands.
Yeah.
To get it back, which Adam promptly drives into a trash can. Thus destroying the bike. You know, I'm surprised he didn't get hurt. I think back to the episode when they're trying to get Lucky back. Lucky is like run away, and him and Erica, I think it was season 4, and it was when Barry was like gonna be like thinking about being a doctor or whatever. It was Barry, I think. And Adam slides over the car and like lands on his elbow, breaking his like elbow to try and get Lucky back. And then, you know, Barry nurses him back to health. The amount of injuries that Adam suffers throughout this show, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, the one that comes to my mind is when he break his arm or hurt his arm with the hoverboard.
Oh yeah.
When he claims he fell off a hoverboard and they have to recreate the. I don't remember what he actually did to break his arm there or hurt his arm there, but I remember the elaborate hoverboard scene. You know, now we're 7 years into the show.
7 years.
Show to remember. When I was 3 seasons, I could remember everything. Now it's a little bit starting to get a little bit hard to put them all in place. And what was the B story that week? That week was, oh wow, was it a Jeff?
It was.
I checked, but I have like 30 windows open right now.
What was the B storyline? How did you? Oh, it was they were trying to raise money, the acapella one.
Oh right, yeah. Erica does her best. Right. I tweeted about this. I love episodes where Erica really shows that she is her parents' child.
Yes.
Like they do such a good job of really connecting. Like you believe these guys are related. And when she goes full bevy, like in Dirty Dancing, or when she takes over the a cappella group, that's amazing.
And you even tweeted about the parallels between Beverly and Erica in this episode.
With Beverly taking over Adam's life and Erica taking over the a cappella group. It was really nice symmetry. I think that was really good writing. And I think for folks who have invested in the show in a long time, that really, it feels like it's really paying off.
Yeah. And then we had a garden party on Schooled with Ball coming back, and they were trying to instead make a garden in his spot.
Yeah, I liked Ball as a villain in Schooled. To me, in fact, I actually almost didn't enjoy Ball relenting at the end and being like nice and being Glasscott's mentor, because Ball was always such a relentless jerk when he was in charge of the school. And even his son, who took Adam's money in the gambling situation, right? Like, to me, Ball's always been like a straight up villain. So the Ball redemption arc there, I was like, I don't want to feel for Ball. Glasscott's such a good principal. He's such a good educator. You see him as a guidance counselor in Island Town. He's a great guidance counselor, right? Like, he and Ball to me are not of the same breed, at least of what we've seen in the show. And now they're sort of retconning a little bit to give Ball a little bit of a better arc. But I'm never gonna like Ball I love Stephen Tobolowsky and I love the character,
right,
as this nemesis, and as the Board of Regents, the head of the Board of Regents. But him somehow being responsible for Glasscott's evolution, I don't know. Glasscott's
I don't think so. Yeah, that leads us into Island Time. So now I was asking my sister, I was like, where's Ball been where's Glasgow been this whole time on the Goldbergs?
I was thinking the same thing.
She rudely commented back. She said that he's unschooled. And that's not what I meant. I meant where in the Goldbergs universe
Goldverse.
has he been?
Right, because Meller's with the Foxcatcher training people in wrestling.
Yes. Solid
Like
reason to not be on the Goldbergs. But they never explain where Glasgow has been. We finally got our answer.
Question. Brian Washington. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Asks if either of us have ever written a spec script for the show. And I would say script writing is not. I'm more of a big picture, pitch the story idea kind of guy. I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah, we're big picture. We're like
Ash is the screenwriter.
Yeah, Ash is the screenwriter. And I think she has written some Goldbergs specs. Shine are the big picture, like here's the theme of the episode, here's where we want to go with the episode. But we're not going to sit down
and let the brilliant writers like make it good.
Yeah.
Like we're good at the situational sort of like arc, character, fandom, the canon, but like actually executing and making a show funny and coming up with a scene with like the Pee Wee Herman dance, the tequila dance. Like I wouldn't be able to go to that level of detail.
No. So yeah, we're very much big picture people, and we give the kudos to all of the writers who can write the dialogue and the scenes. That's not us, but good question.
And the showrunners.
If you have Goldberg specs, share it with the Goldnerds. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to read them.
Little fan fiction. We could do a table read. That would be amazing.
I have tons of fanfic in my head.
A live Zoom spec script table read.
That would be amazing. So Goldnerds, get on your computers, write us some specs or fan fiction, and we'll do a live table read.
Tell us who you want to play.
Who would you play? I mean,
me?
You play Adam.
Adam's like, to me, it's not even like, obviously Sean is a real actor, but to me, it's just a story about my own life. So I identify with it so deeply. Bless you.
Thank you.
That like, I don't think I could translate into, although my kids call me Murray all the time. Like my kids in their mind, they don't see me like Adam at all. They see me like Murray. They're like, Dad loves TV and napping. You're just like Murray, Dad. They said it to me all the time. So maybe I could play Murray.
Maybe. I think I could go sarcastic enough for Erica, but I'd really want to play Barry because I think I can go crazy enough for Barry.
I think you'd make a great Barry because of your intense sports knowledge also. Like I feel like Barry's sports fandom is really, really an important component, is irrational sports fandom. And if you were to infuse your rendition of Barry, it would be pretty good. Okay.
I'll wear my big orange shirt.
And we refer to each other as siblings often, so I think it works.
That's true.
I also don't know if you have the voice of an angel. You seem more like a rapper to me.
I am more of a rapper. Not a good one, but neither is Barry. So
my name is we just rewatched the Tasty Boys in our house. My name is Barry. My rhymes are scary, or whatever that is. That line.
And then he just repeats it. My name is Barry. Line. My rhymes are scary. And then they just repeat.
And they lose their mind. I loved on Island Time, strong showing from the JTP. Matt Bush, Noah Monk as Andy Cogan and Naked Rob sleeping through vacation. Embracing Island Time. Those guys are fantastic.
And then at the end, so you could see them in the background on the plane, and they're napping together. They're like all cuddled up with each other. I love that so much. But yeah, so back to Glasgow though. We figured out where he's been in the Goldbergs. He switched his letters, so he's no longer
to get away from the Goldbergs.
And he had strong G's. That he was
He's
strong
about to
G's
make
and D's.
breakthroughs, and he left them.
Yeah. So he switched his letter alphabet from A through N to whatever P through Z.
And we have a hello from West Virginia.
The whole state.
Hi from regular Virginia to West Virginia. I'm in Virginia, just plain Virginia though, the average Virginia.
So yeah, now we know where Glasscott's been. He's just been with the higher letters, but Bevy convinces him to counsel Adam on going to college, going to NYU after some disappointing PSATs. The show really takes a lot of emphasis on PSATs when they are just literally a practice test.
But they do make fun of that, because when Bevy says this is the worst possible thing that could happen, the practice for the real test, and Pops goes, this can't be this can't be that serious. This can't be the case. I thought there was a nice little nod there.
It's true though. Literally just a practice. Doesn't mean anything. You don't submit these scores. But yeah, so I forget Michael Anthony Hall's name, mostly because I just like to refer to him as Michael Anthony Hall.
The character?
Yeah.
Well, the character is Mr. Perrott.
Ah.
He's like the wheeling, dealing, motorcycle driving, free,
convinces Adam that college might not be for him and that he should just go write a movie.
One of our school guidance counselors was that guy. He had jammed with Eric Clapton or something in the 70s.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. I don't even remember seeing a guidance counselor in my high school. I never went to go visit one.
I think in my case, super nice guys. I didn't have any strong need, but school counselors are important people, good people.
Definitely.
I have a friend who's a PhD in being a school counselor, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. I didn't know that was a thing, but now we know.
Dr. Danny Newman. You can find his books on Amazon about their academic books on school counseling. He's a real hot shot in the field. Anyways, so Kameka. Hey, now you strike me as someone who's been on real spring break. I grew up in Canada. We didn't have the season of spring, so we didn't really have spring break. And I went to a Jewish day school, so we just had Passover off.
I never got to experience real spring break, like real quote unquote, let's go to, Cabo or anywhere in Mexico, basically, or Fort Lauderdale or whatever. I never had a real spring break in college because I was playing lacrosse. Yeah, I never went. Yeah, so with lacrosse, that was our season, so we were always playing games. Oh, wow. But I would say after I've gone on spring break, post college, where last year I did go to Cabo and had fun. It was in the spring, so I've had post college spring break times.
Were your things like Kameka? Did you go to wacky discount places? I remember backpacking through Europe and sleeping under a bed in a youth hostel. That's sort of my closest. Or one time we didn't want to pay for rooms, and we decided to book these tent wooden pods that were just in a campsite. I remember doing some dumb things like that, but nothing like the Moccasins Kameka Resort.
No, I always did it upright. If you're gonna go to spring break, you might as well pull out all the stops. So I would say I went to proper Jamaica, not Kameka. But Johnny Calabasas could sell a pen to me, he could sell me on anything. This Johnny C is the greatest salesman ever. I stand by that.
His outfits also, they always project professional clout.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. So when he sold Kameka on the kids,
More honest than he usually is, though, when he talked about how it's when
True.
Jamaica dumps its trash. Like, I feel like maybe there's a Calabas solution happening there, as opposed to his credit card days when he
Oh
sold
man.
the ninth and the 10th National Bank or whatever they were called.
Yeah, so he sold the kids on Jamaica, bring your own sand because their beaches are just the dumps. Everyone's excited. It was supposed to be just a JTP road trip. Erica and Ren tag along. Now, you and I were talking before the show about Ren. So let's dive into her character a little bit.
Have we seen Ren? So did you confirm we've seen Ren before?
Yeah, isn't she the girl in the acapella episode?
Is she the girl in the acapella episode?
Yeah, that's her.
An acapella person doesn't strike me as also like a sort of like Lainey style badass.
Not normally, but that's definitely her.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's the same person. All right.
Same
So
person.
They just we're learning more about her in this.
We are. She's adding layers.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about her yet.
She seems very Lainey-esque. I mean, to me, maybe we're leading up to Barry deciding to go like either look for Lainey or hold out for Lainey. Because it's a long time between when Barry sees Lainey again.
True.
It's many years because Lainey's now trying her luck in LA and doing all the Hollywood stuff during those tough years when she was sort of on the road. And Barry's not in med school yet. So we're at least 4 or 5 years away from Barry and Lainey reuniting and getting back together. So it's not, I guess it's not surprising that he'd find a similar type of person.
He has a taste. He has a very specific taste in women. And to me, as the head of the Blaney ship, the captain, as you will, anyone that's not Lainey is just a knockoff version of her, which, the similarities, not just that they're blonde, but they have an edge to them and that they kind of not put Barry down, but they act better than Barry, that they're too cool for Barry type of personalities. That's his type. So
see, to your point though, I really liked, I believe, I forget the name of the character, but the actress, is it Morgan McVeigh? Who played the love interest from the end of was it like the last episode of the previous season, or a couple episodes before? I now have to like look it up, but I thought that character was a more interesting love interest. I wasn't necessarily buying Barry. Like Barry and Ren strikes me as kind of mean. Like Lainey always was nice. Like Lainey really gets introduced to the story when she kisses Barry to help him in the great episode of
Living on a Prayer.
Exactly. But Kim kind of likes Barry, and she's got a sort of oddball Barry like rage. Like that to me is someone where I'd be like, look, it's not Lainey, but I see Barry getting something here that he maybe doesn't get. With Ren, I feel like this is just someone who ultimately isn't going to be very nice to Barry, and so I'm worried about Barry.
Yeah, it's and as we see in this episode, they pretend to be married on their honeymoon, married couple. She kisses him, which I was stunned by. That was not necessary if you weren't feeling it, like she said she was selling the picture and all, but that took it too far.
And at that point, she didn't need to sell it. It wasn't like they were just talking to that other couple.
Right. There was nothing to sell. So
those are
people that was, if I was Barry, I would have mixed signals too. I would be like, whoa, she kissed me. That wasn't like it didn't need to happen. We already sold this couple that we were married. So
yeah, like it's a little bit like she's messing with Barry's head.
Yeah. So when she said she didn't have feelings for him, Um, I would have been just as shocked as Barry because I for sure thought she was leaning towards liking him.
See,
Maybe
for
this
me,
isn't
she
even.
seemed like a real charlatan, like almost like Carla-esque in her willingness to lie and steal. So
Yeah.
for me, like I would not have bought if I were Barry. I would have not assumed if I were Barry that like I had any chance with her. Except that he's got Lainey, who's like the greatest, and so I guess and he's Barry, so his level of confidence is insane anyway.
Yeah.
But to me, there's just Ren seems like a bit of a bad seed.
So how do you take their final scene on the plane?
I think they're gonna sort of go back and forth a little bit, but I think Barry's gonna be the one to break it off with Ren and realize she's not for him, but that he's gonna be happy he tried something out with somebody else.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's gonna be something like that. That's where I would predict it goes. I don't see Ren as a long-term character. Maybe I guess not, but it doesn't make sense from a timeline perspective. But a Lainey appearance might be interesting. But I don't think Lainey.
I saw behind the scene pics though and videos of Lainey being on the Goldbergs.
Oh.
Whether we get to that episode or not, considering productions have shut down and people are not being able to work unless it's from home.
Because they didn't finish the last episode. That's like the only one that wasn't finished, right?
Correct. Filming wise, but I'm not sure if you can even do post if you have to work from home. So I'm not sure if this episode will get to it this season or ever, but I for sure saw that Lainey was going to be back on the Goldbergs. So maybe we don't know the whole timeline of, we know that they broke up and then there was a long time before they got together, but we're not confident that they hadn't seen each other at all between those like 10 years, right?
Right.
So I don't know, maybe they have a little fling again, who knows? But
or just Lainey pops up to remind Barry a little bit. Well, anyways, I think that I feel pretty down on Ren. Sorry, Ren and actor playing Ren. It's nothing personal. We just, we're Blaney people, but also I just think Ren just doesn't seem like a good person.
Yeah, I'm not hip on Ren right now.
She's
kind of selfish.
She's somewhere between Lainey Lewis and Lexi Bloom. And Lexi Bloom was not a good person.
No, Lexi Bloom was the worst. And I'm sorry, Joe. I know how much you love Lexi Bloom. Big Lexi Bloom fan right there. But yeah, Lexi Bloom was not a good person. And I'd say if you were to put Kim as the neutral, I'd say that this Ren person is between Kim and Lexi Bloom. So like she's on the lower end for sure.
Yeah. If I were ranked, I like Kim. And then I like Jamie Weissman, even though she's only referenced, like, I think in one episode, because she studies with Barry, and she gets called out in the "We Didn't Start the Fire." Right. I like that. And then Ren's pretty far down. Let's not forget Amanda Cosgrove. I loved her. I would have.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty high up there.
Miranda Cosgrove should be way up there. TA Miranda.
That's classic Barry dating out of his league. That's Barry's move.
I would even ship them if they became a thing. That was a really good episode. For
great
Barry.
Chemistry.
Great chemistry between the two. She liked him back. She was sweet to him. Seemed like a good, mature person, which Barry doesn't seem. He needed that maturity in his life. So I'm a big fan of Miranda Cosgrove. I hope she comes back. She added a great levity to the show. So.
And she did the Instagram takeover. Like, she was cool.
Yeah, she was very cool. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Ren. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to become a thing. Yeah. I think it'll be back and forth, but ultimately it's going to be a dropped plot.
What'd you think of Erica's gag takes while she was like gagging? To me, it was like an ultimate. They were like, we get to make Erica sick and do like all of the gagging that we could possibly do.
She's truly a master of the gag. What a great running gag too. A running gag.
The running gag.
But to add that extra layer for being sick, then gagging at the side of Barry and Ren kissing. Iconic. One word for it, iconic. She's so good at that. I'd love to know how she like is able to do that.
Oh yeah. She's funny that way. And I think Jeff and Erica seem to be in a good place. Jerica is just very solid. He's taking care of her. His priorities are in the right place.
Well,
Erica's
like he
priorities are in the right place.
says, when she's at her weakest, he must be at his strongest.
Oh, yeah, that was great. And then the SAT plot was I loved the return of Glasscott. My wife turns to me and says, "Wow, Glasscott's got a lot of secret hobbies that he's ashamed for." And I was like, he's shamed of. And that's pretty true.
Why would he be ashamed of a Prince cover, Never be ashamed of that Glasscott.
Yeah, I know. And he seemed like he invested in all those wigs. I actually want to see that. I want to see like a whole episode of it. Oh, okay. We've got a Lainey and Barry Forever shipper on here at MISIMJ. Says
Okay.
Lainey and Barry Forever. We are 100% with you. 100%.
Oh, totally. You get it. We all know that they're endgame, as Riverdale characters like to say on the show, endgame.
So Schooled. The return of Lainey's mother.
Well, not the return, just the introduction to her. We've never seen her before.
That's true. And a serious story. A much more.
It was a darker tone. It was very like a serious like tone this week. I was even telling my sister that. I was like, wow, this is a dark episode. We dealt with alcoholism and abandonment issues. And then even on the B storyline with the robots, I mean, a robot killing another robot, it was very dark.
And in the B storyline, had we seen that kid before?
No.
There was, I gotta say, this week Schooled, you had this like very high stakes emotional thing with Lainey's mother. And then you had, and her and Mel are on this like journey. And then you had this like kind of out of nowhere stakes with the egg and the students. Like, I guess it was more about Wilma and Wilma's journey as a person. Yeah. But like the student with the egg.
I would have just dropped the B storyline. If you're gonna do this serious tone, just drop the B storyline, make it all about Lainey in this episode and like her journey with her mom, and maybe have it like
almost like a very special episode, because they hit some heavy stuff, and this is a big factor here. Lainey's mom's been gone since the Goldbergs when she left, and Lainey and Dad are, Dave Koechner are, just living in the house, not having their holidays.
Yeah, but to add that, to not only did she leave them, we find out she's an alcoholic. It was and 90s shows love to do that. It's a very special episode. So they should have just leaned into this very special episode about alcoholism and abandonment.
And almost done like a self-aware, very special episode.
Yeah, very like that. They obviously, because this show takes place in the 90s, but it has a nod to the 90s as well. So it could have just been a nod to it's a very special episode by being it's a very special episode. I didn't think they needed the B storyline with that, because it didn't add any like levity to it. It didn't add any like bring it down to humor level at all. So I agree with you.
But I did enjoy CB's robot voice a lot. And in general, I think Wilma, we've said this before, say it again, Wilma is such a great addition to the show.
She really
they
is.
do to flesh out her character are fantastic. But to your point, they could have just worked that into this bigger Lainey story.
Yeah. Maybe they all are comforting Lainey or helping Lainey find her mom, or they could have just all been rooting for Lainey in this story. But yeah, very dark story. Her mom sober 5 years. Lainey realizes that in none of that time has her mom reached out to her at all, being sober, and Lainey definitely needed her in
Now,
Hollywood.
The actor that played her mom, does she have a significance to you? I feel like you might know who she is. I did.
Yeah, so she was on a early 2000s show called Grounded for Life. I think it was either Fox or WB that it originally aired on. It was like one of those like early 2000s family, not really a family comedy. It was pretty adult comedy. Just about a family like with teenagers, and it was, I think they were in Boston, so it was kind of like a middle class.
Wow. Opposite Donald Logue.
Yeah.
So okay, so a little more edgy. Donald Logue does somewhat edgier stuff.
Yeah, so it was
that
an edgy.
Show had 5 seasons.
Yeah, it was an edgy show. I would say like a middle class, lowbrow comedy type of thing.
Got it. So like a little bit like Roseanne, but not as sort of
Crude.
critically acclaimed.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that show. She was on that show for a while. She's been in other stuff too. I can't think about it on top of my head, but yeah, she's a great actress. She's been in the biz for a while. It was just it was an almost jarring introduction for her.
Yeah.
So
now, is she going to be on the show more? Or was this a one and done? Because I see her only as listed in one episode of Schooled for the Season.
Yeah, I see her as, I mean, that was a heavy episode. We all need time to kind of recuperate from that.
Yeah. But I do hope that if they've gone through the effort to include her, then we've got to have her be in the show. Like, this is a commitment, I think.
I mean, maybe in like a holiday episode, she'll come back here and there. I could see her being like a Marvin, an Uncle Marv.
Yeah. But she's not funny.
No, just in the amount of appearances that she comes in.
Uncle Marv.
I miss him.
I miss him too.
Bring back Uncle Marv.
Yeah, well, there was one year where we got him a couple of times, right? There was one year recently where we got him. Was it the Die
I think
Hard
it was
year?
last year that we got him a couple times.
Yeah, there was one year. To me, the Karate Kid episode where he's nodding at the end like Mr. Miyagi is that smile at the end.
We haven't had our movie homage yet.
Pee-wee didn't count, huh? I was trying to think.
I don't think Pee-wee counts
because they do that slate at the beginning, right? Where they show you the movie cover,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think Pee-wee counts. I feel like there would have been,
I mean,
because
Pee-wee
normally
was pretty close though. I mean, that was the plot of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, was him going to look for the bike. That was half.
Yeah, but normally the movie homages includes everyone.
Oh wow, that's okay. That's a level of detail that, like the Vacation. Well, Vacation was this year, right?
Oh yeah,
it was out of the box. But do they do 2 or do they do 1?
In recent years, they've been doing the season premiere is a.
Oh, Miss at MIS IMJ agrees. Bring back Uncle Marv. Thank you for sending in your comments. We love reading them. We love hearing them.
I think in recent years, there's been like a movie homage for the season premiere, and then an actual movie homage in the back half.
The Nerds was in the middle of that season that year.
Yeah.
But was that the Breakfast Club year? Maybe no. I don't know if that was the Breakfast Club year. No, Breakfast Club was season 4. But yeah.
I think season 4 was Karate Kid, wasn't it?
Oh, so maybe those both happened the same year then. Maybe those both happened the same year. Okay. Well, it's Adam's birthday this week.
It was.
Happy birthday, Adam. Adam F.
Happy
Goldberg,
birthday.
Our fearless leader.
Turned the big 16. Really happy for the guy.
Yeah. And what do you wish real Adam Goldberg on his birthday? And if anybody else has wishes, send them.
Yeah,
to us.
let's. I wish him happiness, of course, happiness and health for him and his family. I hope he got a collector's item toy, like one of those like a collector's item toy that he's always wanted, and maybe he treated himself to it, but he still got it, you know?
Yeah, like an original Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
He probably has one of those.
maybe he got another one. I don't know.
Or like a misprinted Optimus Prime. Misprinted toys were always a big deal, right? If you got one as a kid, you were like, "Oh my god, what is this?" Then they end up being worth like a ton of money.
Yeah. And not only that, I hope you actually play with the toy, Adam, because
Like, take it out of the box.
take it out of the box, give it some use. Don't lose your childlike wonder, please. We need that in our lives.
We need Adam's childlike wonder. I hope all the things you hope. I also hope somehow during this time he's been able to work on whatever his cool new mystery projects he's working on with for ABC.
Absolutely. Good wish.
Yeah.
I hope
there's a guy that should have the Transformers franchise.
Yeah.
Give Adam the Transformers. Take them away from Michael Bay.
He should have a lot of franchises. He should have the Muppets franchise, the Transformers franchise.
Oh yeah. I mean,
He-Man franchise. I heard He-Man's coming back.
He-Man's coming back, but Kevin Smith is doing He-Man.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's pretty cool. Kevin Smith's directed some Goldbergs episodes. Kevin Smith has great, deep respect for fandom.
Yeah, he does.
He'll do a nice job. Now they are doing an anime version of He-Man, so we'll see how that like turns out. But I'm cool with that. I'm cool.
That's true.
Kevin Smith is on my list along with Favreau and Taika Waititi and Adam F. Goldberg that are allowed to touch things that I love. And JJ Abrams.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ryan Johnson, not allowed. Hot take, everyone. I know. But if you were listening this far into the broadcast, I will read out your disagreement with me. I promise if you send it in.
Yeah, so I hope you had a good birthday, Adam. Happy birthday.
Thank you. With that, I feel like that's a good note for us to end on.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us again on our live stream. I hope we get to do this again. If you guys enjoy this, let us know. And if you have any questions, topics you want us to cover in the next coming weeks, there's no Goldbergs or school this week. It's like a double feature of Modern Family. But we are returning on the 15th, I believe. The 15th. Cool. So 2 weeks from now, Goldbergs. It seems like it's the musical episode, the musical play episode, and they couldn't get the rights to a musical that they wanted, so they are going to take a play that Adam and Erica wrote together for the school.
I like it.
And then on Schooled, Glasgow had a surgery, so CB's playing principal.
Oh, he's gonna have some issues, using that authority.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that on the Goldbergs. But in the meantime, if you guys want us to do this again next week or something, shout out topics during this quarantine time. Topics to discuss.
Let us know.
Yeah. Why don't you, what's your digits? Where can we find you?
We love you too, MIS IMJ. Is that Miss IMJ? I wish I knew how to pronounce it, but she sent us loves. You can follow me at Pancake4Table, Pancake and the number 4 table on Twitter and Instagram, and catch me every week on the Friday Night Movie Podcast.
Very cool. And I'm Lons. You can find me at PK Prime 12 on Instagram and Twitter. And then this has been a Goldnerds live stream. You can find all things related to Goldnerds at Goldnerds on Instagram, at the Goldnerds on Twitter, or thegoldnerds.com, Facebook, the Goldnerds. Hit us up. We love to hear from you all. JTP out.
Have a spring break, or have a happy Pesach. Gonna kill the stream. Later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
feel like I've got one more that's still live. I just don't know where it is. Oh, no, hold on. I think it's YouTube. I don't know which ones are still live.